everybody, my name is Jenna and today I'm going to be doing my August wrap up and my September TBR. Now before I get started, I'm just going to point out the fact that it is September. What? Like, how is it September? That is the real question. The second question is, how do I still have so many books to read for university? I mean, I had like 3 of them on my TBR from last month and I only managed to read 1 of them, so now most of them are still on my TBR for this next month and just, I don't know, they're hard to read. So the first book I read this month was Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. This was my first Rainbow Rowell book and I was really excited to pick it up. Unfortunately, I was only able to give it 4 out of 5 stars because I did have some issues with it. All in all though, it was a really enjoyable novel. I really did enjoy it and I do recommend that you read it at some point. But I had some issues with it. In particular, while I did enjoy the ending, I do wish that we'd gotten a more satisfactory ending for some of the other characters, definitely some of the secondary characters, in particular Eleanor's family. Would have loved to have known more about them in what happened at the end of the novel, but oh well. So when I was reading this novel, I actually thought up 3 different endings that could happen at the end, and one of the endings I actually was right about. So the book was sort of predictable, but not completely predictable that I knew exactly how it was going to end, more like I had the 3 different options in my head and one of them just happened to come true. So 4 out of 5 stars. The second book I read this month was actually a play that I read for university, and that was Uncle Vanya by Anton Chekhov. So I actually really enjoyed reading this play. I was surprised when I did because I don't normally enjoy plays that we read for university, but this one was really good because it was basically just a slice of life in the country and it was great. There was nothing overly dramatic about it. The characters were just really interesting to read about. Nothing really big sort of happened at all, but it was definitely an enjoyable read. So I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read this month was All the Right Places by Jenna. This one had been recommended to me quite a few times over BookTube. Everyone said that it was a really great book and that I would really enjoy it. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody said that I would. I had some pretty big issues with the novel, in particular the way that they dealt with Violet and Theodore's mental illnesses. I didn't think they were done particularly well. I found that I actually didn't really like either of our main characters. I felt like their mental illnesses sort of defined them and we didn't really get to learn more about who they were as people. I also found this book to be incredibly predictable. I knew sort of exactly how it was going to end when it started, although it definitely could have gone a few different ways. I just sort of had this feeling that it was going to end the way that it did, and I found that the supporting characters were really unrealistic. In particular, Theodore's family. I found them so unrealistic. If that was my family, I would just be like, what are you doing? You were doing something wrong. So for that reason, I was only able to give this book a 2.75 out of 5 stars. The next book I read this month was yet another play for university, and that is Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. So if you follow me on my Goodreads page, you will know that I haven't actually yet given this book a rating, and that is because it was a very thought-provoking play and it was very interesting to read, but I don't know how to rate it. So for the moment, I still haven't rated it and I don't know when I'm going to because we're still studying it at uni, and I think after the class that I had yesterday, I'm sort of leaning towards it getting a 4-star rating from me because I really enjoyed it. It was very thought-provoking. Not a lot happened in the play. It was very much a play where basically nothing happened at all, but it was very interesting to think about and to think about the characters and sort of what it means for us as people. So for that reason, I'm leaning towards giving it a 4 out of 5 stars, but it still doesn't have an official rating from me just yet. And the next book I read was another book that I read for university, and that was Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I had a lot of trouble getting into this book. I found it was an incredibly slow start and all of the chapters at Lowood I just really struggled to get into, so I actually found an audiobook online and I was listening to that, and that definitely helped me get into the book. But once Jane got to Thornfield Hall and met Mr. Rochester, I was pretty sad. I was really enjoying it. But then of course she leaves Thornfield Hall and I found that I was not enjoying it after that. So I basically skim read the last 6 or 7 chapters when she was at Morehouse because I just wasn't interested anymore, but I had to get it finished for uni. In saying that though, this is one of my favourite classic English literature novels, and it's actually one of the only ones I've ever been able to finish. All the others that I've tried to read, I just have found them too dense and too boring, but this one I found really interesting because it's not just that, you know, classic tale, it's got mystery, it's got horror-ish elements. So because of that, I really enjoyed it, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Now the last book that I'm going to show you, I technically finished reading on the 1st of September, but I read most of it in August and I don't want to wait like a whole month to sort of talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it now and just include it in my August wrap up, although technically I finished it on the 1st of September, but we'll just forget about that. That book is a book that some people have been trying to get me to read for the longest time, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, I know, I've finally read a Throne of Glass novel and I loved it. Oh my goodness, I loved this book. I really did. I thought it was incredible. It had a bit of a slow beginning, but once I got into it, I mean, the tests were great. The evil, the magic, everything was just really good. Selena is a kick-ass, awesome character. I loved meeting Dorian and Kale and Nehemia and just everyone. I really did. I just really enjoyed this story. I would say that this story definitely took a different approach to what I was expecting. I was expecting it to, I don't really know what I was expecting. I knew that it was about this assassin who sort of goes to participate in this trial thing to become the King's Champion, but there was a lot that happened that I just wasn't expecting at all, and it's made me really think about what's going to happen in the next 4 or 5 books in the series. So for that reason, Throne of Glass gets a 5 out of 5 stars. As for the books I'm going to be reading in September, hopefully, I have still got some books that I need to read for university, which sucks. One book that I want to read before it becomes a movie, and the rest are from a series that I now want to finish. So the first book I'm planning on reading in September is one that I've actually already started, and that is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. So like I said, I fell in love with the world reading Throne of Glass, so I technically should be reading a book for uni right now, but I went, no, I need to know what happens to Selena and co next, so that's why I'm reading this one. As I said, I still have books to read for university, and those books are The Air Affair by Just to Put Forward and Wide Psychos I See by Jean Reese. These are the 2 books that were on my TBR list from last month, but I didn't get around to them, particularly because Jane Eyre took me like 2 weeks to finish, which is very depressing. But this one's super short, and this one is more of a classic, not classic, more of a modern fiction-y sort of tale, so hopefully I get through them fairly quickly. This month I'm also planning on reading Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, because the movie is coming out at the end of September and I really want to see the movie, but I would really like to read the book first. So I don't know a lot about the book, but the movie trailer looks awesome, and the fact that it's got like super creepy photos in it as well. Like, let me see if I can find one. I mean, look at that. That is creepy. Like, who comes up with a book that has creepy images like that in it? Not cool. And now, because I'm obsessed with this series, this month I also want to read Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. And I want to read Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. And if I do manage to finish all these books, which I'm not, you know, just need to stop reading the blurb, oh my gosh. So if I do manage to finish both of these books, that would be amazing. And if I finished all my other books, then I will buy Empire of Storms, and I will try to read that one this month as well. But I mean, they're quite long, so I don't know if that's gonna happen. I hope it does, but who knows. So you go, those were the books I read in August and the books I'm planning on reading in September. I haven't actually counted them yet, so. In August and on the 1st of September, I read 6 books, and next month I'm planning on reading 6 books, so this is turning out great. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what books you are planning on reading in September. I will be really interested to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.